bun has a thing of its own.
Kind of its own up there.
It does.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee Talk. We are here again today talking to Lauri Stern about our lovely chakras. And today's chakra is the fourth chakra, and it is the heart chakra. So this one's probably very, very, very important. I mean, not that any of them, they're all important, but this one feels like it's a big one.
It is. Yeah. It is a big one. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I find it interesting that the color is green. I mean, you know, usually when you talk about heart things, you talk about reds and pinks, but this is a green color. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of significance around that and why it's green.
I should have looked into that. And, you know, I don't know how we associate like love and hearts and stuff with red because it is a green chakra. So I may need to get back to you on that.
Okay, that's fine.
It's a very thought-provoking question.
Yes, next time it's not a problem.
Yeah,
I
know.
And I'm imagining too that like this is where all the love that you feel for people, you know, develops or can also undevelop. So, you know, probably a big deal. So
it is a big deal. Yeah. So, so one of the things that you said about the love that you develop. So we want to, in my opinion, start with ourselves. Right. And so that's a clue for you. We'll get back to that in a second. So I'm just going to move to the side so you can see this symbol looks like the Star of David, right? So it's two intersecting triangles. So what we know is we've been talking about our lower chakras. And I was reminding you that the lower chakras, those symbols are the triangle, they point upwardly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so now what happens is the upper chakras, those symbols point down. Uh-huh. And so our heart chakra, the Sanskrit name is Anahata, meets in the middle, really truly the center of our chest, not only the center of our chest, but the center of the upper three chakras and the lower three chakras. Mm-hmm. And so where they intersect is this beautiful bridge between the physical body, the root chakra, our sacral chakra, our third chakra, and the spiritual realm. Mm-hmm. So this is the bridge that connects the energy coming up from root to sky to spirit. Mm-hmm. And then the other way from divine down to ground. Yeah. And so it's a really beautiful way to think about, you know, of course, religiously, I'm Jewish, other people are as well. But it's just interconnecting two shapes in the middle, mm-hmm. the center of our chest. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you think about when you feel love, we often put our hands right on over our heart. You know, we think about, you know, when someone hurts us, it also, we feel it, right? Yeah. And so, interestingly enough, you know, the first chakra we talked about, you know, the color is red, the Muladhara, you know, that is the I am survival, right? To be here. And then we move up to the second. So that's earth. Moving up to the second, you know, that element's water. And that's that's our emotional body. I feel. Mm-hmm. And then we light the fire in our belly with the doing, the willpower. It's an action area. And that fire, you know, we talked about in our third chakra last time we were together, how fire transmutes and transforms energy. And when you think about a fire, like a campfire, you know, the ashes, everything goes up, right? So this chakra, we're making a physical leap from our third fire in the belly to leap up to this bridge so that we can continue the journey upwardly. And in the same way, have faith in the divine energy coming down, that we can, you know, give it the space it needs to, the willpower to water down to the roots. Mm-hmm. So it's such a cool way of being. But the irony is the sense associated with this heart chakra is touch. Oh. So you would think it would be feelings. You would think it would be something about that. But the sense associated with it is touch. Uh-huh. And when you think about phrases, we say that really touched my heart, that really touched my soul. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense, you know, when you look at it that way. I love learning about information and it sort of comes from the back door. Like how many times have you said, wow, that's so touching. That touches my heart. That reaches my soul. And it's like, now you know why that might connect with you right here.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a cool thing. Like, wow, I've been doing this all along. I never really knew it.
Why? Well, that's neat.
Yeah. So it's 12 petals of the lotus flower. And in the center is those two intersecting triangles, colors green. The keynote of this one is F.
Okay.
So we talked about finding music that is in that key. And then the bija mantra, the sound of this is yum. So it's spelled Y-A-M, but you pronounce it yum, like yummy. Okay. And so if you say yum, 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 and sometimes, a lot of times when you see someone delicious, you think yum. And so again, that kind of makes a lot of sense, right?
Oh, sure.
So practicing.
This all comes together. This is great.
Hey, oh, she's so yummy, or he's so yummy, right? Yeah. And it's not just about, that popping out of the heart, the eyeballs, encountering someone. It's about how they make you feel, what resonates in your soul. And the reason I sort of had a little asterisk to what you said at the beginning is, we talk about how to balance these chakras and ways that chakras are in or out of balance.
Right.
And so if you find that you're the kind of person who is a giver versus a receiver, mm-hmm. We know plenty of people that they keep giving, outwardly. It's all about the out of themselves versus starting with the self. Do you love yourself? Mm-hmm. This chakra is all about non-judgment, self-acceptance, just acceptance for as we are, where we are, mm-hmm. and without condition. So it's unconditional love for self mm-hmm. and others. Mm-hmm. And so just saying that, how does that make us feel? Is that something we immediately say, oh, I got that? Or it's like, that's so hard. I'm so judgy of other people or myself. So it's a really obvious to me chakra in the way that it reveals that it's in balance or not.
Uh-huh.
I'm
imagining the out of balance has got to be pretty jarring for somebody to receive, like to be on the receiving end of that. Mm-hmm. Out of balance is probably not very pleasant at all.
Yeah. When you think about just as you are as a person, for example, are you a person who enjoys giving gifts, mm-hmm. but you find it hard to receive them? Mm-hmm. So like, what do you do if I give you a compliment? Like the other day, I'm like, I really like your hair. Mm-hmm. Do you immediately say, oh, no, she can't mean that.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Or you kind of blow it off, this hair, yeah. So, and I would like to say it's not a sexist thing, but I feel like as women, again, it comes from the past and how we're raised, but I feel like we are sort of trained to give more than receive. Mm-hmm. And I'm guilty of it. The other day I was running and I saw a friend of mine across the street and she complimented me. And I immediately just like, oh, no, I'm so sweaty, or, oh, it's like, why do we do that? Why don't, so my teacher says, or my sister who's a Buddhist, she'll say, when someone gives you a compliment, a really good trick to honor this and work on this is you say, thank you. I've been working really hard on that. And it sounds so funny to say, like, even if I said to you, I really like your hair, uh-huh. to say, I've been really working hard on that. Whether you have or not, it just brings it in to you. Uh-huh. Like we immediately deflect all the goodness coming to us.
So is a like a contra compliment, if I were to then compliment you on something, is that a good thing to
It's practice? The same. It's that same idea.
The same thing. Okay.
It's like that immediate way we don't sit with the joy. We don't receive the love.
Right.
And so what's blocking that? It's like, maybe it's our training, maybe it's our past, life or lives, or just how we were raised. Mm-hmm. But that's a really good thing to notice. What is your habitual pattern? When you get a gift, do you start thinking about, oh, how can I give something back to this person? Right. Instead of feeling worthy on your own that you are worthy of receiving this gift, whether it's a verbal compliment, a physical gift, mm-hmm. And really practicing letting that be enough. Like you don't have to give back. That's the conditionality of the imbalance, right? Think about if you give me a gift and immediately in your mind you're thinking, what's she going to give me back? It's not really a gift without conditions.
No, right.
Right?
No, that's not a
So, right. So I know a lot of us, I mean, we know those people, right? They're constantly saying, oh, I can't believe, I gave so-and-so a $150 handbag and she only gave me a $12 candle.
Yeah.
There's lots of those tit for tat people. And then, the practice is, instead of judging, look at the mirror. Is that me also? Why does that make me upset? What is that teaching about me? And then throwing compassion, not only on myself for having the judgment, but this other person for, wow, that's really how they're living. They're not owning their love. They're not really coming from that place of unconditionality.
Well, I'm sure that's very, very difficult for a lot.
It's exhausting. I mean, think about it. If you constantly keep a tally of, plus and minus jar,
Yeah, that is exhausting. That gets old. It gets really tiresome after a while.
Yeah.
I imagine just kind of letting it all sink in is a whole lot easier.
Well, it's not though. That's what I'm saying. It's, and so I really had to sort of really look at, it is hard. It was hard. It's easier now for me to receive a gift. Like I felt unworthy of it. How can I possibly live up to this person? How can they think that I'm so wonderful? They want to give me this gift, like this whole internal dialogue. And, really working with being okay with receiving and not immediately having that reaction, that knee-jerk reaction of what can I do for you?
Right.
Yep. That takes practice. And then what I found with my work on that area was it just really does start to transform the whole energy. Like when you're able to really receive, you're more able to really give without any strings. You know how good it feels to give. Like if I said to you, I really like that picture behind you, which I said to you, and I'm not telling you I want this in any way, shape, or form. But if you were then to hear me say something, and I love doing this with people, like I love before a girlfriend has, or a friend of mine has a birthday, I'll kind of sneak in a trip to like a store or something, and I'll kind of take note of what they're looking at. And if I can do it, I'll go get that thing for them, because to me, that was a little clue. And it makes me feel so good that I've paid attention.
Yep.
Right? This chakra is all about attention.
Okay.
Did we get enough attention? Do we pay attention? And do we give attention? And so it's that little inner child inside of us saying, pick me, here I am, right? Heal me, love me. It really comes up in this chakra, how we were as kids, and did we get enough attention? Did we receive love without restriction and condition? How many of us grew up with parents that said, I'll love you when you XYZ.
Yeah.
You get the A, you clean your room, and we don't realize those words matter.
Yeah. Well, I imagine a lot of people our age too, with parents who are in their 80s now, that was a whole different time.
Yeah.
And showing love was often very hard for them to do. And discipline was more like, I'm going to discipline my children. They're going to behave, I mean, that's a whole different thing than loving your child and tender and soft and accepting. You smacking the kid around because he's eating with the wrong hand at the dinner table. That's a whole different thing. And that's probably how a lot of us grew up with our parents.
And what's that called? That's called tough love.
Sure.
Yeah. Who wants that kind of love?
Hard. That's hard too. That's exhausting. Yeah. It's really, it's terrible. But
when you think about, those messages we think about, like to you or I, like you said, parents in our 80s, that was normal stuff.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the work that we do, the coming to the yoga, the doing these podcasts, I'm a firm believer, my teacher Rama has said that we're in the midst of a raising of a vibration, which is why, we could go on this conversation a whole other 2 days, but why things are so murked and awful in a lot of ways right now is revealing what's always been there. We get to take a look at is this who we are as a race? Is this how we are to each other? And we get to make that third chakra choice of willpower, free will, fire in our belly, to make that leap to the higher vibration of living with our hearts. And when I was putting my notes together for this podcast, I'm getting chills again. It gave me chills to think about, you know, a lot of this chakra has to do with our loving kindness and our demonstration of loving kindness, and all of us staying at home and socially distancing, as difficult as that is, and as harmful to our hearts and sad it is, we are actually doing the most wonderful selfless demonstration of loving kindness to the world. And so it's a really exciting time that we're in this heart chakra right now at this time of coronavirus, because we're doing that for everybody.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
if you,
I mean, you have to think about it like that. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You really are taking care of everybody by taking care of yourself and staying put.
And we're being rewarded, like, with cleaner air and fresher water.
Birds that are chirping. Like,
exactly, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's like, we need to pay attention to that. And remove ourselves from, I don't have toilet paper and I can't get whatever, my hair cut, to the bigger idea of that whole realm of loving kindness, and from ourselves to others. And then the reverse, like really being able to be open and to receive that.
It really does feel like a universal shift in in the energies of the universe right now. It really does. It feels like it also feels like it could continue in this really great path, but if things start to go back to what they were before, do we really want to do that? It's just that I think right now is a real opportunity. It's a real opportunity to see what we can do to move differently and a little bit more, comprehensively in this heart space, a little bit more aware of what we're doing to our environment and, driving everywhere. And now we're not driving, and all that stuff. And I think that's really important for us to take a look at all that right now. So this is cool. This is a very big deal. It's a big deal.
It is. It really truly is, as personal and small, little work that you can do on just the receiving of a gift, to the bigger ideas of, maybe it's time for me to really take a look at my environmental impact myself.
Right.
And what am I willing to shift and change for the better good of the world? Right. And what can I really not live without? Right. So just like you said, awareness, thought provoking, but from a place of loving kindness versus a place of, well, if I'm going to give this up, then you have to give
somebody else has to. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the conditionality. And that's the whole thing. It's like when you behave and you act really from your heart, you know how easy that feels. It just feels natural. Versus when you react and behave from a place of hoping and expecting to get something back, or a little pat on the back, that's those conditions. And that's not what this is about, this chakra. It's about removing those things to really operate from an open heart. Even if it gets broken, even if it hurts. And that's the other part of bringing this into balance is, everybody's had a broken heart. Everybody's lost something or someone, and everybody's had disappointment. And how quickly can we get back to our center, that knowing that those things are going to happen to us, to everyone, and how awful they are. Knowing that we're going to be all right no matter what, that takes practice too. And coming back to those days of balance when you're like, okay, the sun's out. All right. And then all of a sudden the door closes and you're like back in the wallow.
Rains for days.
That's the work, and that's okay, right?
Yeah. The Chicago spring.
There's so much opportunity here in this chakra for personal growth and world growth.
Yeah, I really feel like it. I think that besides the color being green, which is the first thing I thought of, I mean, this is really a heavy, like, you could sit with this for a long, long time and really work on how this can be your normal, and how you can act within this space right here all the time,
Right.
And you're not always, I mean, everybody's human. You're going to fall, you're going to mess up, you're going to make a mistake, you're going to get angry, you're going to say something that you regret. I mean, that's just going to happen. But if you can just come back to that, circle back to that. And how can we sit with this? Like what is the mudra for this? And how can we sit with all this stuff?
So the work begins, when you recognize, your habitual patterns of, are you able to are you only a giver? Or are you a sponge and a receiver? Like you don't ever give anything back. So the recognition of how we are, right? And so the work begins also when you dial back. The cool thing is, now that we've worked through a few chakras, let's just say we were not secure in our roots. We had a tumultuous childhood, or we moved around a lot and we didn't feel secure. So how that manifests in our heart chakra is, I'm afraid of abandonment. So I'm not going to make a relationship. I'm not going to love anyone because they're going to be taken away from me. And then in the second chakra, it's shame, right? So how can I demonstrate love if I'm ashamed of my sexuality, or I'm ashamed of myself as a person? I'm not worthy of someone else's love. And then in the third chakra, recognizing, can I even decide to love and have that leap of faith, have that willpower to love myself, love someone else, and make the decision to enter in a relationship with myself first and other people, which is a scary decision to make.
Yep.
How blissful to keep our head in the sand, right? Or keep our head in the clouds.
Yeah.
So when we recognize like the cringing that comes up in any of these chakras really are informed by the ones that came before. And so my teacher cautions, some of us just only can, in this lifetime, we just have first chakra work. That's it. This is what we need to work on. Some of us, we move up, whatever. So just the recognition of the cringe that comes up in our heart area, self-sacrificing stuff is a way that you can recognize you're in imbalance, judgmental criticism of yourself and others. And so when we talk about the mudras for this, first I just want to talk really quickly about, and we sort of touched on it, the touch.
Yep.
When we feel that constriction in our chest, this chakra, obviously in the center of our chest, has to do with heart, lungs, shoulders. So are we tense in our shoulders? Well, yeah, we are, because we're sitting at home doing computer stuff. So my whole yoga class yesterday was about undoing that, right? So sit up tall, open your heart, open your chest. Even if you have to stand and put your hands behind your back, just these kinds of stretches and just visualizing this intersecting star, just this green emerald of light here at your heart with your heart open, is one really good way to tap into this. And taking deep breaths, because as we know, when we're sad or feeling grief, we can't breathe. It's our lungs too. So this is heart, lungs, shoulders. So you think about in this area where you might be feeling tense, those are messages, right? So if you notice you're breathing too shallowly, sit and breathe. If you feel like you're kind of just shrunken, get taller, just open up. And this belly up thing, we've done this in class, at the block behind your heart and your head.
Yep.
And I've talked about how much fear can come up when you're belly up, like an animal. That is a complete position of trust.
Right.
So even just practicing the discomfort for some of us of sitting with an open heart, laying down with an open heart, that can be really good work to do. And surrounding yourself with love, like green love, and just like, you're okay, I'm okay, no matter what kind of stuff. And then there's 4 chakras. I actually didn't realize until I looked back through my notes. I'm just going to peek over here to where they are. There are 4 mudras that I gave my students, and each one is amazing. The first one is Anahata Mudra for the heart chakra, and you bring your index finger to the root of your thumb, right? And then you bring your thumb to the tip of your middle and ring finger, and then your pinky extends up. And you do this with one or both hands at your heart or in your lap. And the benefit of this particular mudra is it releases built up emotions and anything weighing on your heart, and rejuvenates the heart by releasing stress and emotions. So it's a really good heart chakra opener. And then the other one I think I've done in class is Padma or Lotus Mudra, which returns later in an upper chakra, but it looks like the shape of a lotus flower. You just connect your thumb and your pinky, and then the other fingers just kind of fan out like a flower. And I I know in some of the meditations we did before or after class, I invited people to put like a green glowing ball here, or even yourself in the middle of this beautiful flower at your own chest. And again, the benefits of this particular mudra are it grounds and uplifts, right? Because we're in the center doing both things, bringing root to ground and ground. And it helps you maintain that visual image of an open heart. You know, so anytime you feel kind of closed off, that might be one to do. And then Kapita mudra is you just tuck your thumb into your index finger and make a fist. And you can do that with both hands. So it's just thumb, you know, just like, you know, right. And it's a very powerful mudra that brings, it opens the connection between the pelvis and the heart. So you think about this connects the fire to the heart. Because it takes some strength to keep this mudra too. And it just, creates connectivity. It increases the idea of connection. And the last one was I have to read this. Abhaya Hirata mudra. I might be saying that wrong. And this was the one that I loved because it was so cool to do. So you have to connect the backs of your hands, and you interlace your pinky, your ring, and middle fingers. Right. So all those guys are connected, right? It looks like a spider. And then you make those two loops, but you don't intersect them at all. They're just two loops with your index finger and thumb. And it's a good wrist stretch when you think about it, right? It's a good sort of counterpose for computer work, I think. You know, when I was doing this earlier, I'm like, wow, that feels really good on my wrists, you know? And so that mudra, the benefits of this one, it connects to the truth to your heart. It's a very truthful, you know, if you want to tap into what are you really, really loving? How are you really loving? And it provides some courage to follow your heart. And it's just a rejuvenating sort of mudra as well, because you can. It's fun to do. It makes you feel successful that you can do it. It looks really cool, you know. And it reminds me too when I said, like, you know, you intersect these fingers like a spider web. This chakra, because it's in the center, is the web of life. It is the path of the heart. And so when you think about you in the center of this vast web of the universe, that's this. And so it's just a nice way to think about, you know, you as the mama spider, and then everybody else in your life kind of just tickles your web and lands where they land, and they all matter, whether they remain on the...
Some of them are food.
Right? Some of them are food, exactly. I love that. Right? Right?
I would say something like that. So.
That's true, right? What do we need people for? It's not just always so pleasant. Sometimes we need to step on others to get where we're going to be, and we have to, you know. And the final thing about the chakra is the way to open up your heart is to have forgiveness. And so, if you've eaten someone, if you've stepped on someone, if you've tossed them off your web, to really, really ask for forgiveness for yourself and others. That is the first. One of the most important jobs to do in this chakra.
Yep. And also one of the hardest, but
one of the hardest, especially when it comes to ourselves, you know, really. But picking up the phone and saying, I'm so sorry. You know, I just did that today, actually, because I inadvertently hurt someone's feelings. And it was way easier to make that call than I thought it was going to be. And I was prepared for the anger that might've come. And, but you know, when you operate from a place of love, and I had no expectation that this person would receive my apology. And thankfully she did. It just matters so much more. And then they can tell if it's a heartfelt apology. So practicing really good, I'm sorry, looking someone in the eye, really being sorry, takes practice.
It's definitely worthy practice, though.
Very, very worthy practice.
For sure.
Yeah, because it makes space here.
The most trivial thing about all of this, what kind of thing can we eat?
Yeah, so I love kale. It's all about the kale and the spinach and the celery and the lettuce and the green stuff, green apples, anything green that you can imagine. You know, so it's like kale for president, man. That's that's me.
Awesome. I love kale.
I love kale. A day without kale is like a day without sunshine in my life.
Yeah, kale is awesome. Yeah, good.
Yeah, so, you know, go get those greens, you know, chard.
I don't suppose apple martinis count, though. Huh?
Of course they will count. Of course they count.
They
and you
count
can make,
now.
you can make it maybe like an apple martini smoothie with some kale in it.
With some kale. Okay. I don't know.
And you're getting your vegetables and your drink. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that, but okay.
All right. So, make it up.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks,
Yeah.
Lauri. This was great. Again, as usual. Thank you.
It feels so good to talk about this stuff. It's so important, and I hope something that we discuss with each other resonates with people, in little ways, maybe big ways. And like I said, it's all about forgiveness and loving kindness.
Yeah.
And
And
we can
just
do
a
those.
reminder, you guys ask questions. Definitely ask questions on the YouTube channel. I will get them to Lauri. We can get you answers. So
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, darling.
All right. Love yourself.
Yeah, love yourself too. We'll see you
Okay,
next
thank
time.
you. All right, bye.
Bye.